One of the best shows that I've seen in the most recent years was one about a kid going through childhood. And while many people will probably video essay this subject up the ass, I wanted to give my 2 cents on it. But only one subject in particular: the background design. As much as Clarence was entertaining and actually had some interesting situations that the characters had to overcome, such as a single mother trying to go on dates, a poor father figure, mental illness, poor economic situations, what stood out to me from watching the show all these years ago was mainly the world they lived in. To put it into simple words, it felt lived in, and what's better was that it was obviously done on purpose. You have shows like Adventure Time and Over the Garden Wall and Regular Show that have great stories and characters and sometimes even great art, but the things that stuck out to me about Clarence was the feeling that the background design evoked was not only consistent for its 4-year run, but was a great representation of childhood, adulthood, and the link between the two. To do some more research in the subject, I decided to check out Thomas Wellman's website. He's the background designer for the show. He worked on many other projects such as Miracle Merchant, Albert, and was also a writer and storyboard artist for Adventure Time. So he's a big deal, guys. He's a big deal, alright? So looking at some of his art, for me personally at least, it invokes nostalgia. I think the biggest factor is not only the fact that the majority of the sets are locations that we all remember from childhood, such as the city park, the playhouses, and the arcades from Chuck E. Cheese's or McDonald's, and streets that we rode our bike in to meet up with our friends. Even a freeway, a bus, the laundromat, all they are just mundane places that we've all been to. But what about his art makes it worth discussing? The attention to detail is something that I appreciate the most about it. With something as simple as a frame from the playhouse, there's a stick from the outside brought in, a stuffed animal lost on the floor, a ball from the ball pit out of place. Yet looking at the image, it works as a reminder that this is a place where kids play, where families visit often, and where people live daily. Let's look at another piece, one of a classroom. It looks like a well-drawn classroom, but when you look closer, a lot more can be inferred. The paint marks left around the cabinets and the floors, the ripped up papers from the crappy tape, and even the scratch marks on the chair's metallic legs. The table has a paper keeping it even, and there's a toy just laying on the ground. A lot of these details help the world feel a lot more real. If I were to walk into a classroom right now and look around, the details in this particular image would be the same as the ones I see in reality. Let's take a look at one last piece, the teacher's lounge. Here we see a packet ready to be graded, some food half opened and half eaten with a phone being charged, a few decorations, but also some leftover food packages in a cardboard box wedged between the fridge and the counter. All of this combined helps make the teacher's lounge feel lived in. You can tell someone was just here, or that someone just might walk in at any moment. It's the attention not only to the physical details, but the evidence that someone was here before us. That's what makes this art so effectively nostalgic. Things like the public park, so idealized when we were children, are shown in a more real light with the moss and grime, and in a way it's a good combination of the innocence of childhood and the character's need to be childish, and the awareness of adulthood and our awareness of our surroundings in where we go and hang out. It's pretty easy to compare these images to liminal spaces, and if you haven't seen my video on that yet, make sure to go check it out. But the interesting thing that differentiates the two is unique to Thomas Wellman: his art style. The way that the liminal photographs were taken were very much in an abrupt manner with disposable film cameras and high contrast flash in a place that is void of human evidence. It could be empty, or just not used at all. But Wellman's art shows human existence. It shows something mundane the way it really is. Mundane. An everyday experience or location. As adults, looking back at our childhood through Clarence is pretty easy. They're just kids going through life, doing something like renting out a movie or sleeping over at a friend's house or cooking a casserole for your mom. But as nostalgic as these situations and characters might be, I think a lot of the credit to this world building has to go to Thomas Wellman. He did the near impossible and recreated the everyday mundane life, and with his unique art style made it a world that the viewer becomes familiar with. Every now and then, as I continue to live my life as an adult, it becomes harder to find that childish innocence in life. But every now and then, a few of Wellman's art pieces, and I call them art pieces, come to mind, and I think the end credits conveys that the best. Every night after hanging out with my friends, walking back home, sleeping and looking out my window, I would see the bushes, the houses, the phone poles, and the streetlights. And so it made the show feel like you're home after hanging out with your friends. And it makes looking out the window before bed feel a little more special. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was another kind of short video that I literally just thought when I woke up. I just had the idea and was like, I need to make this video. So that's exactly what I did. Anyway, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys check out my new fiction podcast. It's called Cape Lock. The links will be in the description, so make sure to check that out if you guys like spooky stuff. Okay, bye.